Hi everyone, so today we just look at the overview of the C++ course curriculum. The books that I'm going to refer are the Object-Oriented Programming in C++ by Robert Lefort, 3rd edition, and you can look at its picture. Next we have the Letter C++ by Yashwin Kanetkar, and the third one is C++ How to Program by Detail and Detail. So these books are extremely good. If basically I tried my best to convey all of the concept of C++ in my lectures. But if you want to study any topic in depth, you can get one of those books and you can read that. Further, the topic of file handling is explained extremely good in this book, Letter C++. So you can also read the topic in depth from there. So now we come to the introduction to the course. Introductory video is included. You can have a look at that. And the course is basically designed for a newbie. If you have no previous experience in any of the programming language, or you're totally a beginner, still you can take this course and it will take you to advanced level. Next we have the videos that I made. They are based on PowerPoint animations and DevC++, and they give you a hands-on experience on the language. Next, by the completion of the course, you could write advanced level C++ programs. All right. So next we see that what's special about this course. Why do I feel that this course is a bit special? Basically, the duration of this course is basically special. When I was making the course, my course goals were that to create shortest possible course duration with no key point missing. All right, the duration should be short, and I should provide an in-depth study with examples to show program execution step by step in DevC++. So the duration should be short, but the knowledge should be in-depth. So both are a bit inversely proportional. So I tried my best to minimize the time as much as I could to save your time, the time of the student, as you know it's extremely important. So finally, the duration is 6 hours only, and it saves your time a lot. But still, I'm sure you won't miss any key point. All right, now then what we do is that I tell you how to install. I just given a video in which I tell you how to install the software of DevC++, in which we can execute the C++ programs. So our video tutorial includes the following. First, we download DevC++ from a link, then we install it, then we write our first C++ program, and then we save it and execute it. So from there you can learn how to write your first program and how you can execute it. So now we come to the lecture 1. Lecture 1 is all about the introduction to C++ language. And in lecture 1, I give C++ introduction and then reasons of C++ popularity, and then the concept of compiler and object-oriented programming, and then C++ program and its execution method, how we can execute the C++ program, and then we write our first C++ program. All right, next we come to lecture 2. Lecture 2 is about the C++ program structure in detail. And what do? We look at the program structure of C++ program structure. Then we look at what are header files and what are the different types of header files and what are the frequently used header files in C++. And then after lecture 1 and 2, we have a quiz that is MCQ based, and then assignment that contains can contain some question from the lecture, and plus also it can also provide you with some C++ programs that you have to write, and it is both from lecture 1 and 2. All right, next we come to the lecture 3. The topic of lecture 3 is C++ constant and variables. And in this lecture, we just give introduction to constant and variables, and then we look at the different data types of that are used in C++, and then we look at the topic of strings and then variables, and then local and global variables, and then types of variables. So lecture 3, after lecture 3, we have a quiz and assignment. Next we come to lecture 4. The topic of lecture 4 is main function and input output statements. So in this lecture we discuss what is a main function, and as we all know that main function is used in every program of C++. And then we look at some of the input output statements such as cin and cout, and then we look at some other input output statements that are used in the language. So lecture 4 is also followed by a quiz and assignment. Okay, next we come to lecture 5. Lecture 5 give introduction to C++ operators and C++ decision making statements. So as we can see, first of all we discuss the C++ operators and different that are used in the language, such as arithmetic operators, increment and decrement operators, relational operators, logical operators, bitwise, assignment, and miscellaneous operators. And then we look at some of the C++ statements that are used in the language. That is the if statement, if else statement, and else if, switch, and break statement. Alright, lecture 5 is also followed by a quiz and assignment. Next we come to the lecture 6. It's all about loops. Alright, so what we do is that, well, first we give the introduction to the topic of loops. What are loops and where are they used in the language? Then we look at some of the types of loops, that is the while loop, do while loop, for loop, and then nested loops. And then we discuss some of the control statements that are used in loops, such as break, continue, and go to. Alright, then we move to lecture 7. It's about the C++ functions. So what we do is that, first of all, we give introduction to functions. What are they? And then we look at some of the types of function call, call by value, call by pointer, and call by reference. And the function call, different types are explained based on the parameters of the function. Alright, next we come to we also discuss some of the types of the functions, and such as library functions and user defined functions. So lecture 7 is also followed by a quiz and assignment. Alright, now we come to the lecture 8. The topic of lecture 8 is arrays. So first of all we give introduction to arrays, then we discuss the multi-dimensional arrays, that is 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, and so on. Then we explain what is a pointer to an array and how we can pass arrays to functions, and there are basically 3 methods. And in the end we discuss how we can return array from functions using static variable, etc. So lecture 8 is also followed by a quiz and assignment. So next we come to the lecture 9. So lecture 9 is all about pointers. So first of all we give introduction to pointers, what are they, and then we see how we can access the pointer value and what is a null pointer, and then we can see how we can increment and decrement a pointer, and then we see how we can compare pointers and what is an array of pointer, and how we can pass pointers to function, and how we can return them. So lecture 9 is also followed by a quiz and assignment, so that you could apply the concepts. Okay, next we have lecture 10 is all about structures. So first of all we give introduction to structures, and then how we can use structure in a C++ program, and then we give some of the examples to tell you how you can implement structure, and then we see how we can use structure as an argument in a function, and then the pointer to structures, and then nested structures. So lecture 10 is also followed by a quiz and assignment. Alright, now we come to the lecture 11. So lecture 11 is all about classes. First of all we discuss the concept of object-oriented programming, and then we give introduction to objects and classes, and then we look at the general form of a class, and then we just understand what are member functions and class access identifiers, and then we look at the concept of pointer to class and this pointer, And in the end, we look at the topic of constructors and destructors. What are they and how they can be used? So lecture 11 is also followed by quiz and assignment. So next comes lecture 12. The topic of lecture 12 is file handling in C++. First of all, we give introduction to file handling concept, and then we look at the header files that are used for file handling. And next we have the file operations and how to open and close a file. All right, and then we look at some of the file functions, file handling functions, and then we look at the functions to reposition file pointers, and in the end we look at the record example that implements most of the functions of the file handling topic in C++, right? So lecture 12 is also followed by quiz and assignment. All right, the resources provided with the course are the PDF of presentations, and then I gave some links of helpful websites, and also the C++ programs used in lecture videos and some other C++ programs if you further want to increase your knowledge. So finally, I wish you good luck for the course, and I hope we'll have a great time together. If you have any question, you can let me know. I will try my best to help you out. So once again, I'm going to wish you good luck. Thank you.